Welcome to the GPLama YouTube channel, where if you're like me and 180,000 other people who have signed up already, you're probably gearing up for the annual Festive 500 starting tomorrow, where you'll be using Strava quite a lot. Now, getting the most out of Strava can be tricky. Hopefully the upcoming 7 tips will help you out. A quick summary of what I'll be going through. 3 things about Kudos, from the secret shake, rate limiting, and Project Kodos, where you can track just how popular you are. I'll jump over to global Heatmaps, where you can start planning some rides along popular routes or runs. We'll have a quick look at the new FlyOver feature, which should be appearing on iOS very, very soon. I put the spotlight on ActivityFix, an amazing service that you can link to Strava to automate a lot of things. It's a super powerful little service that I've been using for a few years now. And finally, ghosting yourself during an activity. Not exactly a Strava feature, but something very, very useful to know about and put to good use in a number of scenarios, and I'll cover why shortly. Starting off with an oldie but a goodie, the secret Kudos handshake, available to all Strava users, free and paid subscribers, and only on Strava Mobile. Plug up my phone here, scroll down through your feed to find a ride where multiple people have taken part in. So here we have Lee Hollywood, who's done the Hell Ride today. Some impressive stats there. Going into the ride, once that loads, we scroll down and see Hollywood rode with 30 other people. View group, and from the group, we shake, pops up there. You can give kudos to athletes I follow or all athletes. Now, the Hell Ride is one hell of a ride, so to speak. We'll go all athletes. And from there, all the athletes on that list will get a kudos. That's the secret Kudos handshake. As I said, an oldie but a goodie. If you don't know about that one, people usually put that to good use after a Zwift ride too, where the bunches can get quite large. Which leads me to Kudos rate limiting, which is secret number 2. You can only give out around 200 kudos per hour. Strava haven't defined exactly how many kudos per hour you can give out. They have confirmed it is rate limited, but what happens is this. Once you've done all the shakes and given out all the kudos, that being around 200 per hour, you'll still register a kudos as being given, but it won't stick. So you can see I give a kudos here, but when I refresh, no kudos sticks around, indicating that I've been rate limited. So do be aware of that. You can't just shake your phone all day and kudos farm. On to the third tip or secret about Kudos, and this one is Project Kodos. It is a Strava Labs production, so it's available over at labs.strava.com/Kodos, and is available for all subscribers, so free and paid subscribers to the service. This process will run every few weeks, I believe, so I don't think it's in real time, but it does give some interesting numbers here for your entire history on Strava. Kudos received, top receiver rank, total given, giver rank, and Kudos score. From here, you'll see your top 50 activities, whatever they may be, runs, rides, paddle boardings. Scrolling down to the timeline over the years, and you can scroll that or expand it out if you need. Not quite sure what happened just after the start of 2016 there for me, but that's where things really kicked off for Kudos. Must have been a Zwift link or something going on here, but you can dive in and find out when you were given a lot of kudos throughout your timeline. The punch card's also an interesting data set showing you what hour of the day. I think it's relative. Actually, yes, it will be your local time zone. The reason why I say that is because where I get most of my kudos is Wednesday, just after the Australian Hump Day ride on Zwift, where I'll assume a lot of people are using the secret shake to give out kudos for that big bunch ride on Zwift that I regularly take part in. So that's kind of neat to see when your kudos comes in. And finally, a little avatar circle here of received kudos, given, where you can see here that the most kudos I've given is to my wife, Veronica. That's a good thing. Next up, one of my good mates, Stephen Lane, Tim Searle, Jim, Eric Min, Steve Beckett, Peter Mullins, and even Martin from Tax there is up high on the list. Up there's Ray, right there, DC Rainmaker. I've only given him 133 kudos. And that goes around in a circle. You can also go to a table and see that. And this is where things get a little bit tricky. Listing your received and given, and also the surplus/deficit. So I've given Veronica 1,313 kudos. She's only given me 189. Not sure what's going on there. Even Slane, I've given Slane 641. He's only given 61 in return. Clicking on deficit will cut straight to the chase of who you need to follow up and give them a bit of a nudge to get some more kudos in return. Oh, Hollywood, mate, you haven't returned many of mine at all. 29, okay, it's not too bad ratio-wise. But having said that, clicking on surplus, oh yeah, okay, I've got some work to do. If you're on this list, please definitely tag me in one of your next rides and I'll throw some kudos your way. But there we are, quick overview of Project Kodos. A neat little way of looking at how popular you are and who owes you some kudos in return. Okay, on to tip, trick, and secret number 5 for Strava, and that is the global heat map, which is not personal heat maps. This is a global heat map, so it is available to all users of the service. It's a Strava Labs production, so available on the web, and contains some very, very useful information. Here is the global heat map of all activities. So again, Europe is very, very popular for cycling. Australia, not too bad. US, again, in certain areas. Let's dive into my hometown of Ballarat and find out where people ride. Well, I know because I do contribute to this quite a bit. But you can see how it displays information here. The hotter the route, the more popular it is. We can up the opacity to 100%. We can change that from all activities just to cycling. Get some more information out of bikes here. And just something as simple as like these two roads running parallel to each other here. One of my friends rode out this road yesterday, discovering some new areas around town. And well, that is a larger road. It's a bigger road, but it is a very busy road. Most cyclists choose this road here, long straight Cuthbert's Road. So just looking at this visually, if you're planning a ride based on the global heat maps, and the information you're seeing here on screen, ride out probably this one, come down here, back in that way, pretty much steer clear of that road there. It's not as bright for a very good reason. There's many ways to present the data on screen. You can have labels turned on, dark mode. Hang on, wait, is there a dark styles? Strava, come on, we want it for the app soon. There's also light mode, standard, satellite, which is also very useful if you're looking into forests and things. Let's dive into Creswick Forest here. Wonderful playground for gravel bikes and mountain bikes. If you're looking for a destination in Victoria, Creswick Forest, absolutely brilliant. Good coffee in Creswick too. What else do we have here? Hybrid, winter, and 3D, but there's not a lot going on here for elevation, just a few little bumps and things like that. So global heat maps available for everyone and a very, very useful resource for planning rides. On to number 5 on my list, and that is a feature we've seen land on Android recently. We've seen it improved greatly on Android. Is now coming to iOS. So the FlyOver service should be landing on your Apple device by the end of the year, Strava said. Now, if I was to speculate what that would look like, here on screen I've made a mock-up of what I assume is going to be rolled out. And we click on Map, click on the little S snake right there, and we have the FlyOver service kicking in. So originally from Heatmaps, showing us the details of the ride as we roll out. Clicking on the screen once or tapping on the screen, we can then speed ramp that up to 10 if we like. We can pause at any time when I hit the right button. We can time scrub, bring that back to whatever speed we want, and we can then be presented with an overview of our ride there at the end as it zooms in. Lovely. Still no sharing option that I can tell is going to be rolled out with this one, but a neat little way to see where we've been. Just a reminder, this is a subscribers only feature. It is on Android at the moment, and what you see here is what should be rolling out to iOS very soon too. On to tip number 6, where I put the spotlight on ActivityFix.com, an excellent service that you link to your Strava account, which allows you to automate any number of things. I covered it here on the channel a few years back. Since then, the developer behind the service has continued to add so many additional features. Definitely worth checking out. Let's have a quick overview now. The website homepage has a very brief overview of how it works. You connect ActivityFix to your Strava accounts. No sign up needed. They use your Strava account to log in, so very, very simple to do that. You create rules to decide how and when you want your activities updated, and you can create as many rules as you like, and then go out there and enjoy the ride. Now, I haven't logged into ActivityFix for at least 6 months. It just ticks away in the background and applies my rules. What can it do? Well, here's just a very basic overview. So they can change any of these settings in your activities: title, description, gear used, activity type, markers, commute, mute activity. A great option if you do something like taking the dog for a walk or taking the kids for a walk around the block. You want to record those activities, but not blast those in everyone else's feed. So you can set up rules to mute activities, add private notes, change map types, workout types. That's a quick overview of what you can change, but how you change those are based on rules, and those rules are extensive. Logging into ActivityFix with my Strava account, which I haven't done for quite some time now, and I'm pleased to see the changelog here is simply amazing. All the way through until 3 days ago, even more things added. We have rules. I'll take you through my rules on this. Right. Now here's a rule that I have disabled. So what this is doing is when the title contains the word Llama Lab Test, it would actually add to the description that little chart there. I have turned that off though. Mute short test rides. So any distance less than 3 kilometers where the activity type is a ride, I mute the activity. Mute hikes. So in a nutshell here, based on the watch I was wearing, I was setting the gear used to the shoes. Very, very cool stuff. Another thing here is when the Ant Plus sensors contained a match to the Power to Max NGCO power meter, I would add to the description that I was using the Power to Max. The same with the Asioma Duo Shis, the Sugai Axo, Asioma Duos, Garmin Rally. Here's a very interesting one though. Using some advanced options, when I was using the Garmin Rally pedals, it would actually show the average power, normalized power, and maximal power in the description of the ride over on Strava. Muting Zwift rides, Creswick gravel ride. Actually, I'll dive into this one. This is quite interesting. In a nutshell, what this rule does is when I ride within 2,000 meters of a certain geolocation, the gear used would be set to a Sparrow because I was deep in the Creswick forest. There's no other bike at the time that I had. Adding to the description the word Creswick forest and setting the activity type to gravel ride. So if I was riding with a non-Garmin unit, which wasn't correctly setting the sport type or the sub-sport type, it would then update that to say gravel ride and things would be correctly marked. As you can see, there is a lot more to this, but I'll leave it there for now and put links in the video description below over to activityfix.com. If you do find ActivityFix extremely useful, then remember there is a donate button right there where you can show your appreciation for Brandon's work and to help keep the service running. And finally today, tip, trick, or secret number 7, ghosting yourself during an activity. What do I mean by that? Well, here's a scenario. Let's say I ride to a friend's house during a ride and leave my head unit recording. And then I ride back to my house, or we continue our ride, but I've gone into their driveway and gone out. I may have a privacy zone set to my house or the destination. My friend may have a privacy zone around their house. But if you were to look at the ride that I've done, if I post that publicly, then you'll see that my route actually goes into someone's driveway and back out, thus becoming a bit of a privacy concern, especially if I've posted online that I went for a ride with my friend, because it doesn't take too many steps to jump back through both of our rides to figure out where that friend lives. Another scenario, let's just say you want to go to a coffee shop, but you don't want to let people know that you stopped off at the coffee shop. Or maybe pick up some Christmas presents that are a little off route. Maybe, well, there's any number of scenarios that I guess you can come up with for why you might want to not show your exact path during an activity. And a secret tip to stop that is to simply not record that section of your activity. How do you do that? What does it look like on the map? What does it look like on your head unit when you do it? Let's have a look out on the road where I ghosted myself, taking a little detour. Okay, the secret detour that I will be taking on this ride is marked there in red, but I don't want that known or recorded. So here's how this plays out. Riding along in a straight line, and before I make the turn, I press stop on the head unit. This is not an auto pause, this is stop. Just like you do before you finish the ride and hit save, but do not hit save, don't hit discard. Just get about doing the detour that you want to ghost yourself on. So what's happening here in the background is there's no GPS plots being recorded. So of course it doesn't record where you've been. And once you're back on track and well clear of where you wanted to ghost yourself from, so here I'm back on Humphrey Street, and I simply hit start again. So not hitting discard or save, just hitting start in ride. So I've gained no distance, but the line there on the screen indicates I just rode straight ahead. So that's what happens on the Garmin head unit in real time. Distance stands still when the unit is stopped, obviously, and it will then rejoin that line artificially. But how does that look on Strava when this uploads? Let's jump over and have a look. On the analysis tab here of this activity, I'll bring that up a little bigger on screen. And here is where I ghosted myself, and that doesn't exist to Strava. I did not ride Scott Parade because there's no record of that. Diving a little deeper into the data, there is something that's interesting that happens, and you can see there is a time jump from here to here. So there's 3 minutes that something's happened. So if someone is really deep diving and sleuthing your data, they can see that time stood still there for 3 minutes and I didn't actually ride this section. So a hot tip would be, if you're ghosting yourself, stop your unit well away from where you're heading and start it well away in the other direction. But that's it, that's ghosting. That's how to give yourself a little bit of privacy on the fly when recording data with head units, watches, or even the Strava app. So a very useful trick, that one, especially as I said early on, if you want to visit a friend's house, you're going for a ride, you both upload publicly, but you have those privacy zones, not to disclose where your friend lives, is probably a wise move. And yes, there's probably any number of reasons why you'd want to do this during an activity, but that's how to do it. It should work across all head units, all devices, and including the Strava mobile app as well. So keep that in your back pocket if you need to use it in the future. Okay, we'll leave it there for today. That's been 7 tips, tricks, and secrets regarding Strava, hopefully allowing you to squeeze a little bit more out of that service, whether you're a free user or a paid subscriber. If you found this informative and you've learned something new, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe to be across more videos uploaded to this channel, and good luck if you're kicking off the Festive 500 tomorrow. We'll see you out there.